Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out. And let's talk about what lesbians have found. Let's hang out. And let's listen to two lesbians shout. Let's hang out. Let's hang out.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Lez Hang Out, the podcast where girls like boys do nothing new.
Girls like girls do. Let's be real.
So true. Oh my gosh, let's change it. Petition for Haley Kiyoko to change the lyrics to the song, starting now.
Yes.
From the West Coast, I'm Leigh Holmes Foster.
And from the East Coast, I'm Ellie Brigida. To those of you who've been with us through this whole journey, thank you as always for listening. If you're a new listener, welcome. We're excited to have you here. Here's what's happening this week. This week in the Lesdom. This week in the Lesdom is a place where we can touch base each episode about things going on with the podcast or otherwise. In season 7, we are continuing to release our bonus Patreon episodes. You can get those at bit.ly/lespatreon. Our last 2 episodes were on The Kids Are Alright and The Fallout. And our next one will be on Red, White, and Royal Blue. We're talking about the boys. The boys are going to get some attention for once.
Fine, might as well.
Fine, we'll give it to you, gay boys.
We also want to remind everyone that you can listen to all the episodes of Journey to the Heart anywhere you get your podcasts. It's all out, and you can prep for, the second possible path that you're going to hear starting in June. Also, in the greater Liz universe, listen, it's been a hot minute since I have talked about JoJo Siwa, and it breaks my heart. It breaks my little heart to have to talk about where JoJo is right now, because I'm sure many of you have seen JoJo is rebranding. We're making a pivot, and we're pivoting in a way that feels like maybe a little tone deaf.
It's so rough.
It's a little tone deaf. It's
so
kind
painful.
It's kind of rough. It's kind of rough. And I'm like, listen, I want to be rooting for you, JoJo. I want to be behind you. Nobody wants to be behind you more than me, JoJo. But gosh, you're making it so hard.
She's making it so hard. Okay, so let's discuss a few of the things. So one of the things that happened is she has decided to rebrand herself as a bad girl, right? Quote unquote.
Yeah.
Right. So she's telling, but I feel like if you have to say you're a bad girl, you're not a bad girl.
No.
You know what I mean? She's like,
it's hard.
Oh, I'm the first. And she keeps also, she said she's invented a new genre of music.
It's called
gay pop. And I feel like the big theme here is, I think tone deaf, you're right, is the right word. It's like never had access to a computer.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
never been given any sort of never listened to an album. Like, I can't even fathom.
I feel like, what
how
I think we
you
should
wouldn't understand that you're not the first person to ever become a bad girl, quote unquote, and you're not the first person to be gay and make pop music,
or to make gay pop music. I think we should just do a whole episode on this, Ellie, because honestly, I have so many things to say about what is happening and some of the takes that I've seen that I think are actually really great. And I feel like we could talk a little bit about what's going wrong and how could you course correct at this point, or what is I just feel like I have a lot of thoughts on this actually, and there are things about it that are so avoidable and so just silly, unnecessary about what's happening, and it feels like it's mostly like a PR mistake Do you know what I mean? And I'm like,
Yes.
there's no need for this. Like, there's no need for it to be going down this way. It's so silly. It's like,
She's doubling down too, I feel like. It's like, girl, just
yes.
apologize.
Yes, but she's doubling down in a way that it's also like, I feel like it's a really interesting case study in what happens when you are not educated about a lot of like queer things, you know?
Yeah, you're
And
just like, I am gay, but I'm not in gay. And like also
right.
there's a whole other layer to JoJo Seo, which I feel bad about, which is just like the child star of it all.
Yes.
Right?
Sure. The child star
But
of it all, and the like, you're young. Like, I get it.
like
You're
she
young.
is
Like,
20
you
years
are
old.
not steeped in this context of like queer knowledge of history, and like, just there's a lot of stuff where like it's interesting to me the way that this is being handled, and from a queer perspective, I'm like, there's actually so much to dive into. So maybe we'll just we're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm sorry, but it's so
dive
much.
in. We're gonna dive in and talk about it more, because I think we have a lot. There's a lot to discuss. And I think it's illuminating in like a queer perspective way that I actually find really fascinating.
Also, in other gay news, women's basketball has been having a moment.
Yes.
And I feel like the funniest part about it is that like there's all these memes that are like women's basketball and what lesbians have been telling us this whole time.
Yes.
It's like, yes, of course.
My other favorite meme is people being like, this is a big week for lesbians where everyone is into women's basketball and the moon.
Honestly, so true. I know. Why didn't we talk about the eclipse?
It's a time. It's a time to be a queer lady right now.
It is.
Let's just put it that way.
Astrology and tall women. Like, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, this next bullet point, Ellie, I specifically didn't put a whole lot of information because I want you to be experiencing this in real time for everyone to enjoy, okay? So there's a new research study that was done, okay? And I want you to, this is for real, the headline, NBC News headline. New research helps explain why lesbians report more orgasms than straight women. Okay?
Okay.
And so here's the thing. So they did this whole study because they were like, isn't it fascinating? They wanted to look into what's been known for a number of years. It's called the orgasm gap. Why do men report so many more orgasms when they have sex than women? Right? And it's also been known for years that lesbians report orgasm rates similar to men. Right?
Cool.
So it's basically like people have sex. Everybody is having orgasms except straight women.
Yep.
Except for straight women. And so here's the thing. So they did this whole study where they surveyed women, lesbians, straight women, and bisexual women. And what they were trying to get an understanding of is like, why is there this discrepancy? Like, what is causing this change? Okay. And so they asked them a number of questions where they asked about things like how important are orgasms? What are your expectations of having an orgasm? They asked about things like how much clitoral stimulation, how important do you feel like orgasms are, like in terms of like how actively they're being pursued by like both people, okay? So here's what's so funny to me. They did this whole study and basically they're like, yeah, everybody goes into sex wanting to get off. Right? Like, everybody has similar importance of orgasm. Bisexual women are like similar rate of like pursuing orgasms regardless of the gender of the partner in the in like the hypothetical that they're posing. Okay? But the only real difference that they found is the expectations of clitoral stimulation and orgasms when the partner is a man. For both straight women and bisexual women, okay? But here's what I think is so funny, is that they did this whole study, and then somehow the outcome of the study is that they were like, oh, well, the only real difference we can find is the sexual script. And so they're defining their sexual script as like, what are the ideas and expectations that people have going into sex based on things like, you know, like what they've seen in media, in porn, in whatever. Like, what does people's picture of sex look like in their heads? And like, that's the difference. And so the difference is that like they have this different sexual script in their head. And I'm like, how did you do this whole study and basically find a way to avoid being like, the problem is men?
Is men.
They're like, no, it's the sexual script. And you're like, it is men, and the fact that the bar is literally below ground and they cannot clear it, and nobody wants to hold them accountable for it.
That is incredible.
What?
Incredible. No.
Like, what are you talking about?
Of course, who conducted the study?
Great question.
This study conducted by men.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
By men with bisexual girlfriends.
No, it's a woman. It's a woman that they're interviewing. It is deeply, deeply disappointing that they're basically like, yeah, the only difference is like when straight women have sex with men or when bisexual women have sex with men, their expectation is, I'd love to have an orgasm. I probably won't because...
Yeah, exactly. Why? Because I
will
expect
not do
this man not to give
the things that will give me an orgasm. And like that is just so sad. So sad. But also I feel like this is another example of like I know that this is the episode we're about to talk about this in, but like this is following us, Ellie. This idea is following us, and that's all I have to say about it. Okay?
Yes. I read this. The heterosexual script prioritizes the man's orgasm.
Yes.
Not the man who's prioritizing his own orgasm.
Right.
Yeah. It's the script that has been written.
Yeah.
That
it's
can't
It's
change.
just a bad script. That's all.
Yeah. That makes sense. I am obsessed with that. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
That's what's happening this week. Back to you, Ellie and Leigh.
Thanks, Ellie and Leigh. We are so excited to bring you episode 17 of season 7, Lesbian Masterdoc.
This, first of all, listeners, I would like to say, Leigh and I chose this topic maybe 3 minutes ago, and I think it has to be my favorite episode we've ever done.
Already.
And it hasn't even started.
We're 30 seconds in.
So
it's gonna be
cannot
a blast.
wait.
So here's what's happening. You might remember this came up on an episode earlier in the season when we were talking to Nikita that we looked up what is sort of like a seminal text, I think, for like queers of a certain age, right? Like this was formational for us, right? Like this was a...
Wait, when did it come out?
The Lesbian Masterdoc? Did it come out like a while ago? I feel like this was like early aughts. Am I like completely reimagining this in my head?
It was published in 2018.
What? No.
Yeah, so you're making that up.
Then maybe there was like
there might have been an earlier
similar version that I'm remembering looking at. Okay, whatever. There's a document that exists that we find just so
hilarious,
wonderful, so delightful, so joy-giving in its existence.
And
that
is
I
called,
feel like
yes.
I feel like there have to have been things that existed earlier. Like
I'm sure there were plenty of things that told Leigh, that told you you're gay.
Things.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This I think is okay. So that we're gonna talk about the Lesbian Masterdoc today, right? And it's called "Am I a Lesbian?" It's a 31-page document, and I think this is like a sort of like combination of various sources prior to 2018 that someone just put all together, right? And wrote this comprehensive thing of like, here's all the reasons you are a lesbian. And I will
delightful.
Say this is quite a controversial document, and even that's why I think it's hilarious. It'll be great for us to talk about. I don't think this is like an end all be all. Like if you read this document and there are things in it, like of course you're a lesbian. Like there's so much more nuance to it, but it fracks.
That's the answer, Ellie. You can't argue with the Masterdoc.
This is the answer. But there are some things that you read it and you're like, oh shit, light bulb. And then other things where I'm like, what was this person writing? I said this before in the episode when we talked about it. Part of it also does read like, I'm madly in love with my best friend and I wrote a thesis to be like, you must be gay as well.
Yes.
Like it's literally like, if you used a Polly Pocket lunchbox in the 2nd grade, you're lesbian.
Gay.
Yeah.
You're gay, bitch. So here's the thing. It came up. We talked about it a little bit with Nikita, but it's been in our minds, and we wanted to like really give it the time and the consideration and care that it deserves as such a beautiful and absolutely unarguable piece of evidence of everybody's homosexuality. So,
Yes.
listen.
Here we go.
I just think we wanted to dive in. So we're literally going to be, if you have not, you can look it up. You just Google Lesbian Masterdoc. It's pretty easy to find.
Am I a lesbian underscore masterdoc .pdf.
Yeah. .pdf. So we're just going to be going through and kind of like in real time streaming our thoughts about this.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So let's start from the beginning. The beginning of this doc is all about compulsory heterosexuality, right? And to you, Leigh, I guess let's just talk about your personal experience with this.
Sure.
How much did comp het? You came out sort of relatively early, but like I feel like how much comp het did you have to deal with before you came out?
I mean, so here's the thing: is like we were just talking about this when we did our V for Vendetta episode, right? Is like comp het, even for me, and like I did come out pretty young. Is like it's unavoidable. Like I still remember like actively going into magazines and like cutting out pictures of all the like, the Josh Hartnett's of the era and like putting them up on my wall. Did I care about them at all? No, but you were like, but this is who all my friends are talking about. Like they're all into Hayden Christensen. I should be cutting his picture out. Ooh, Ewan McGregor's so dreamy. Even when the reality was, like, I was not watching Moulin Rouge and picturing myself sucking face with Ewan McGregor. Like, let's be real.
We all
let's be real about that.
We all know why that was your favorite movie.
That's not what was happening up in this brain, okay?
Yes.
Like, I was not being like, ooh, yeah, he's so strong and those big arms. Like, it just wasn't it. It wasn't it. But that's who you'd cut out and put on your wall. Because then you could cut out the picture of the two of them, right? And like,
exactly.
So I mean, you do. It's like you play that game. You pick the like. I remember like the crushes that you'd have of like, oh yeah, who are you gonna tell your friends that you have a crush on? Who is that? Who are the hot popular guys? Who's it gonna be, right?
For me, I feel like it was always because I was such a tomboy too. So it was like, oh yeah, I'm the only girl with all these like guys playing video games, so it's like, well, I have to like one of them.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'll
right.
pick. I guess
Eeny, meeny,
I guess I'll
mo.
pick like the nicest one. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, sure. And that's the thing too. So one of the funny things here. So as we go on, it says number 1, the celebrities, right? I like fictional men / male celebrities.
Yep.
Right. Love that. And also, I think I've liked men before ? It's like. That is a super difficult thing to define, right? Because of compulsory heterosexuality. I was talking about, like, I have a crush on this boy in, like, 2nd grade, right? So it's like, of course you've liked men before because it's, like, what has been pushed on you. And one of the things that I do like about this doc is it says, I like this quote, if you don't care about men or would no longer like to be with them, you can be a lesbian now.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. But I like it.
It's not illegal. You can just do it.
It's a now identity, right? So it's as much as some shit in here is like, oh my God, what are you saying? I appreciate the like, your past relationships don't matter with your current identity.
Yeah.
Your past relationships don't factor in, right?
Yeah. It's, what's funny is like, not to like completely throw my father under the bus because this is a long time ago, everyone. This is when I first came out in, 2003 or whatever. So like we've moved past all of this, but I remember when I was in high school. So I was watching Buffy, like in real time when it was happening. And we were watching, it was before I came out when Willow started dating Tara on the show. Right. And I have like the most vivid memory of having a conversation with my father where he's like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem realistic to me. I specifically remember it because it was happening at such a crucial point of time in my life, right? Where I had boyfriends and stuff. And what he was saying is he was like, it just doesn't make sense because she's always dated guys. She's been interested in guys, like, and how would she not have known? Right? How would this be like a new development in college, right? Like, how could you be that old and not ever have realized that you're attracted to women as well? And the thing is like, that is a super common, not just response, but like it is an incredibly common logical way for straight people to think about something like this, because comp het doesn't exist to straight people.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
that is
because
not
for straight people, they're like, I've been straight this entire time because that's the only path that
because that's the
that
only
I was
path.
going on. Yeah.
And so the thing is like, to them, they're like, well, yeah, that's always been there. How could you not know something that must have always been there as well? And it gets so lost on them, the concept of how easily we just shove anything else down and out of the way, and like just put huge blinders on, like starting as kids, right? To be like, there is only one way, this is the way. And you don't realize it until all of a sudden, right? Like, I mean, you have to like physically remove those blinders from yourself sometimes.
Like,
and that
painfully.
Painfully.
Yeah.
And that can take a number of you, like far more than 18 years until you're a freshman in college, like dating your first girl, you know? I'm like, it's so laughable now to look at that statement and be like, well, obviously she didn't realize it because she'd only dated guys and only had the option of dating guys in front of her. Like, that's so clear, right?
Yeah, like
how
she
could it be
realized it because
clearer?
she realized she was attracted to this woman and then
Right.
was like, bing, 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 the lights are going off in my head. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
part of the Lesbian Masterdoc too that says the common misconception is everyone's born knowing that they are gay.
Yes.
And like,
and that is it's such a catch-22. It's such a catch-22 to put queer people in, to be like, hey, we are going to make sure that you have absolutely no awareness or concept of anything other than heterosexuality. And then also, if you haven't been loudly proclaiming your gayness since you came like out of the womb with a little rainbow flag, then like we won't believe you.
yeah,
right?
then it
And you're
doesn't
like,
make
what
any
the fuck,
sense.
dude?
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
exactly.
Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, you can't shove this down our throat and then not expect us to regurgitate it at you for the first, like however many years it takes. Like, that's what happens. Like, of course
wow,
it
it's so
is.
crazy. She dated men since she was in high school. Like, of course she did, because
Yeah.
there's no other option.
Well, and you know what else is funny is like, I say all the time, it's like my running joke, because I'm always like, I feel like as I get older, I only get gayer. And I think actually all I mean by that is I just like let go of more and more of comp het as I get older.
Yes.
Like, you just learn to realize and identify some of the things that have been sort of forced onto you by this mentality, and realize that like they don't matter and they're not real and you don't have to hold on to them, So I feel like the I do get gayer. Good for me.
Good for you. And
Break it
also,
free,
and also like I feel like it's so complicated because of like, it's sort of what Nikita was saying too. As a bisexual woman, comp het's even more complicated and confusing.
God, yeah.
Because you're like, okay, am I a lesbian? Am I bi? Am I like, and it's like, you're just like, wait, what the fuck is happening in my brain? So I think like, there's these things can also exist in your brain and you don't have to identify as a lesbian.
Yes.
But it's like
comp het affects bisexuals just as badly as it affects us. Like, sometimes worse, you're right, because it is like, it's so much harder to tease out what are the parts of myself that are genuinely attracted to men versus what are the things that have just sort of been
taught to me.
Again, just kind of like shoved forcefully
well, and also
into the box of my identity.
One of the parts here too is like, they're like, it's possible to recognize that a man is attractive and not be attracted to him,
yes.
And I feel like that's a big piece of like, when you're younger, you're just like, that person is attractive, like that person is nice and sweet and cool, and you're like it's the classic, right? Like, I feel like I experienced this so much because I was in comp het till I was like 21 years old, right? I was trying so hard to date men, and there were so many things where I was just like, oh, it's just not the right person, or oh, they're so nice, and like, oh my god, this is actually killing me. When you can't follow through with this attraction in real life scenarios, because I literally, there are so many times I would remember, like, I have this vivid image of, I met this guy in New York.
I'm excited already.
I probably told this story before. I met this guy in New York, right? And we were like texting and flirting, and I was 21, like right before I came out. Probably like super close to right before I came out. We're flirting and texting, and like, he invited me to his apartment, and he was older. Like, he was like 24 or 25 or whatever. So like he had his own apartment in New York City. So he invites me to his apartment to watch a movie. And like he starts kissing me and then like is trying to do more than that. And like immediately I was like, no, goodbye. Like I left. I literally left. And he was left very, very confused. I mean, he was not pushing me to do anything, but I can understand why he was very confused because it was a super gay reaction. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It was not just like, I don't really feel like this. I freaked out. Like I remember just being like having a visceral reaction to this man trying to do anything besides kiss me.
Yeah.
Like I was I don't want to. And he was cute and I thought he was sweet.
I feel like the thing is for me, what I remember the most about like dating guys, like making out with guys, you know, kind of like that. I mean, I was in high school still, so it's not like there was like a ton of pressure to like go super far. But even then, it's like what I remember the most about it is it's like at the time it's not like I wasn't enjoying it, you know, like it was nice. You had a boyfriend, like someone wanted you, like you're 15 years old, that just like it's nice, you know, like it's nice to feel like someone like sees you and wants you and you're like, wow, I'm hot and desirable to somebody on earth, hooray, right? But what I feel like is the thing that I remember, like to me the most vivid memories that are like the stark contrast between the two is it was so cerebral, you know. Like I vividly remember like being, you know, like, oh, making out with my boyfriend and like how much thought was going on in my head because I was like not really in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like
10,000%.
I was fully up here. Leigh existed in this little space in my brain where I was like, wow, look at me. I'm making out with somebody. Like, you go. You did it. Here's how we make out. What do I do now? Okay, like, maybe this is cool. Like, I'll get to tell like my friends about this on Monday that it's like, oh yeah, we made out here. Like, what, you know, I'm like, there were so many thoughts happening in my brain. And like my most vivid recollection of like the first like date I went on with a girl is like it was with my ex, with Jess. We went to the movies, went to see a movie, and she like slid her hand over and we like held hands. I could not tell you a single thing that happened in that movie.
In your brain.
I could tell you nothing else that like my brain short circuited, and there was just like just explosions and fireworks and like just all rational thought ceased to exist. I can't tell you anything else that happened that night because I think I was just like in a fog of like, what is happening to me in my body? What is going on? I don't understand, right? I'm like, there were zero thoughts were happening. And like, that's the difference to me is I'm like, yeah, sure. I was like making out with the dude. Yeah, like whatever.
Yep.
Holy God. Holy God, the difference between that to being like just the slow implosion of like Leigh's brain reduced to a lizard brain of of gayness. I mean, that's all it was. I was just like a small gay lizard hatching and emerging into the world, right?
Yes, 10,000%. I mean, I've said this many times before. It's like, I don't know if it's not that, maybe I'm like, I actually don't remember. I probably didn't have anything going on in my brain. You're correct. All I can remember is that like when I would kiss men, I literally would say to my sister, I do not feel a thing. Like, and she was like, you know, maybe you're feeling what everyone else is feeling. No. Listeners, I was not feeling what everyone else is feeling. For sure. Yeah. Also, okay, so there's another part of this that says like your attraction to men, right? Let me just read a few of these because I'm obsessed with this. I can fantasize about men and find men attractive, but thinking about realistically being with a man makes my stomach churn. It's literally so bad. This is sort of what we were talking about with the cerebral part. Deciding which guys to be attracted to, not to date, but to be attracted to, based on how well they match a mental list of attractive qualities, right? Yep. So you just have a list like, oh, well, I don't like guys because I haven't met this kind of guy. And like, if it was this particular person and this particular set of traits, then yes, I would be attracted to them.
You know the other one in this list that's fucking killing me right now, only because it's so, again, it's like the ways that you can look back and be like, oh fuck. So this one, only developing attraction to a guy after a female friend expresses attraction to him. And the thing is like, especially when you're me, and the way that always sort of presented is you'd be like, oh yeah, I could have a crush on him too, and therefore that means I should want to be more like him. For no other reason, I should try to embody those same qualities that my friend finds attractive in myself because of my also attraction to him, and therefore desire for us to be more similar so that it would work out between us.
Yep.
It made perfect sense. It made so much sense.
So much sense.
At the time.
So much sense.
Just perfect, totally logical. A logical way to be. Not how do I make myself attractive to that man? How do I become that man?
That sounds right. I like this one too, about choosing. This is cracking me up. It says, picking a guy at random to be attracted to. Then it says, choosing to be attracted to a guy at all. Not just choosing to act on it, but flipping your attraction on like a switch. That's a common lesbian thing. Because it is true. It's like, how are you going to just like, oh yes, I pick you. Like, oh, if I have to, you must be the right person because I have chosen you to be attracted to.
Yeah. Well, and also that flipping attraction on and off. Like, I mean, God bless the last guy I dated in high school, because it's like, I was probably such a bitch to this kid. Like, we were good friends. We got along super well. We had a lot of like same interests. I think we always had like so much fun hanging out. That's the problem. But I think the thing is like, again, the hooking up, the making out, I was 100% just like, I'm up here. And so when I was like, I'm done, I would just be like, okay, bye. And I'm like, this poor guy.
Mm-hmm.
This poor guy was left hanging probably just so badly in ways that like affected me 0%, because I was just like, and we're done now. Night.
Yeah. Well, also I feel like too, for me, it was like so easy to break up with them. And I feel like I was like almost vicious with it. Like they would be like, same thing as you. Like it was like yesterday they thought we were fine. And today I was like, I'm done.
You're the worst, man. You're the worst.
It was so bad. It was so bad. This is one thing I want to say about the Lesbian Masterdoc that is where I'm like, all right, you're just listing a bunch of random shit. Only or mostly being into guys who are gender nonconforming or feminine in some way. Also, the guys I like are only masculine and embody everything about manliness. So I'm like, okay, so any version of a man.
Right. Right. All men. Well, it's okay. Also, other problematic things on this list that I think are so funny, which again, I mean, this just makes me laugh in general. But one of them is you view relationships with men as a chore, burden, or just something you must deal with. And to be honest, like that is true of many straight women I know. Like actually a distressing number of straight women I know. I think that like, okay, as much as we want to talk about comp het, yes. I think the idea in society that straight women hate men is also horrible. It's horrible, but it's
for
also
lesbians. In reality.
It's based in so much reality that it's like a little
concerning.
Weird.
It's concerning, yes. But that's why I feel like we need to change the way like we view straight relationships as well, of like, because I do feel like it can be very confusing. When I was a straight girl, it was difficult to come out of the closet because you were like, oh, but all my straight friends talk about men in the same way.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very confusing where you're like, okay, so
yes, they
also hate spending time with men and I hate spending time with men. We must all be straight. It's so confusing, people. How about this is my PSA. Like, start liking your boyfriends. Be kind to them. This is for you straight men. That is my PSA to straight women. Like, start talking about your male partners better, and then I'll believe you're straight, okay?
Which I feel like is also a PSA for straight guys to be like, stop sucking.
Mistreating your exactly.
Much.
It's a double-edged sword. But
God.
Let's move on to the next section, which is called relationships with men. Oh wait, no, but before that I want to read one more that I thought was funny. Having a lot of your guy crushes later turn out to be trans women.
Incredible. Some
of these are just so good. Like, why are they so good? But yeah, okay.
What did I just say? I saw a TikTok this week where it was like, it was a couple and they got together And it was like, so they have a picture and it's like a guy and his girlfriend or whatever. And then it was like, they were doing the whole like, surprise, surprise, right? And
Yeah.
he's like, so she came out as a trans woman. So she's like, surprise, surprise. And then the girlfriend is like, realizing I'm more attracted to her that way. And I was like, amazing. Happy for you both. Love this.
Incredible. But yes, let's dive into the next section, which is relationships with men, right?
Oh, God.
So when you're in a relationship with a man, it's so much dreading what feels like an inevitable domestic future with a man. You have every reason to be happy in your relationship with a man, but you just aren't. Everything's going really well, but something's missing and you cannot figure out what. That is like so legit. If you're trying so hard and it's not working out, like you're gay.
I mean, but again, here's the thing. This is why, like, in terms of the Am I Lesbian Masterdoc, in terms of, like, how this can be now confusing or problematic for people, is, like, maybe you're in the wrong relationship. Covered nowhere in here, right?
Well,
like,
yes.
perhaps you are
Well, no matter
attracted
what,
to men,
no
but
matter
not this
what, yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Right? Also, I feel like this is a Masterdoc that, like, the concept of ace and arrow people, non-existent. Non-existent.
Yes. There was, I wish I could search this doc because there's something about asexuality in here. But yes, agreed. It's like very much talking about if you do feel attraction. But I do feel like the thing for me about the compat of it all, right, is like, I feel like you would realize if you were ace or arrow if you tested out your comp.
Yeah,
Like,
both.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I feel like the big thing, test out feels like a weird thing to say, but I feel as though if you're not challenging compat in yourself and you know all these things about you that you're not really interested in men and you just keep pushing to keep dating men and don't even like try to see if women might be interesting to you, like then I'm like, you're not straight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like when you're saying all these things, like when you literally say like, oh, I just wish I was a lesbian, I just couldn't do it. And it's like, okay, but like, have you ever gone on a date with a girl?
But you know what's so funny? I mean, okay, so like here's the thing. I literally just saw another video of a woman, like, again, it was like this week where, and the whole thing is like, I props to her. She was responding to like a super like gross, hateful comment, whatever, about like why gays shouldn't be considered a protected class. And they're like, because you choose to be gay. But they were like directing it at her. And she's like, first of all, I'm not gay. If I could choose to be gay, like I absolutely would. And you know, and she like went off on this whole like, oh, just a really nice response. But it was just a very funny way to start that response, to be like, if I could choose, I would absolutely choose women. Like, are you kidding me? Like, sadly, I'm only attracted to men. And again, in that way where you're just like,
are you?
But sweetie. But sweetie, have you tried it though? Like, have you really given it the
have
full
you explored that
consideration?
part of yourself? Yeah, because it is like, because it is a very
comp
like,
het is fucking hard to
it's
get
strong.
rid of, dude.
It's so strong.
It's so strong. I'm like, sometimes you see videos like that and I'm just like, I want to check back in 2 years. You know, like I want to update when you get your first girlfriend. Like I mean, but like we've all done that. Like we've all had those friends sometimes where you have that conversation with them and you're just like, oh, head pat, sweetie. Like, honey, this is not what it should sound like. Like that's not what it should.
And if it is, like, that's a depressing straight life to live.
Yes. Like sometimes I just think about
the
amount
I want
of like,
you to be attracted to men. Like if you are straight, I really want you to be attracted to men. Like I legitimately do. I want you to have a fun, exciting life with your partner who you love and you're attracted to. But if I hear you say this gay shit,
I mean, again,
you're gay.
listen, we're recording this on the week of our V for Vendetta like Facebook debacle that you've probably heard us talk about already. So I just have one of those comments that someone left like seared in my brain or something, because there was like someone who left a comment and they were saying something about like, oh, like, yeah, because you just need to project this on everyone to like make yourself feel more normal. So like you need to like tell yourself everyone is gay so that like you can feel happy about yourself. And I was just like, dude, like being gay is the fucking best. Like, I don't understand why you think I would need to wish this on other people to make me feel better. I feel fucking great.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Being gay is amazing. Like, why would I want to be straight? That sounds awful to me, personally. I don't know, man. Like, what's distressing to me is, like, how unhappy many straight people seem to feel about their state of affairs. Like, I'm good. I'm good, my guy.
I'm great.
I don't need anything. I'm great. Like, what are you talking about? I need to project this on other people. I'm like, maybe if other people stopped being like, God, I wish I didn't have to be straight. I'm like, well,
then we wouldn't have to have this conversation.
I mean, I don't wish I wasn't gay, actually, ever. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. This is not a problem in my life. I don't sit here, like, sitting
being like, I wish,
my thumbs,
yeah, exactly.
wishing I was
I wish
straighter.
that I
Like,
was less alone. It's like, actually, everyone in my life is gay, so like, I don't actually need more gay friends. I'm good.
I'm like, actually, this is like the extreme best thing. What are you talking about?
We're
like,
just trying to welcome you all into our space. Like, we want you to be happy. That's all we're saying.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We're gonna come back and dive into some more of this Master Doc because we're having a great time. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. And as we head into Thanksgiving time, I want to start by thanking my wife, Kelsey, who has not only listened to just about every episode of this podcast for 8 seasons now, but who also is the only reason I'm able to make time to record it every week. She takes the kids, gets them dinner, and gets them ready for bed just so that Ellie and I can come on and yell about gay things into each other's faces for an hour. So here's a reminder to send some thanks to the people you're grateful for in your life, including yourself. I've been in therapy for a long time now, and one thing that's so important about therapy is how it teaches you to be more intentional. And being intentional about gratitude and how to show that to the people you appreciate is just one of the many benefits that I've gotten from therapy over the years. If you've been thinking of starting therapy, consider giving BetterHelp a try. I know how hard it can be to find time for regular therapy, and BetterHelp is designed to be flexible and convenient for your schedule. You can fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you want to start being more intentional about gratitude in your life, visit betterhelp.com/Lez Hang Out today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Lez Hang Out.
Let's hang out.
For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm. For many businesses, the holiday season can be both an exciting and stressful time. With so many balls in the air, one thing you definitely want to know you can rely on is how you're selling your products. And with Shopify, you can rest easy knowing it's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Nobody does selling better than Shopify, and when it comes to successful brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, an often overlooked secret is all the things that go on behind the scenes that make selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, if you take a peek behind that curtain, you'll see that Shopify is what makes it all possible. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, so that's more happy customers and way more sales going. It's true all the time, but especially this time of year, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use for Realm merch with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
Hey, do you like true crime? Me too. And I know what you're thinking. There's so many true crime pods out there, you've already heard all the stories. Well, what if I were to tell you you're wrong? I'm Leroy Luna, the host of Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the podcast that takes a hardcore look at softcore crime. I've got a back catalog of hundreds of bizarre and hilarious stories just waiting to be heard by you. So come join me. Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th every month, baby!
So I would like to dive into the early interest in women section.
Yes, please.
Because
oh my God,
this is just the like, if you're gay, you're gay. Like, this is like wanting to kiss your female best friend on the mouth for literally any reason, to practice for boys included. Any of you who've ever practiced for boys, like, I'm sorry, I was not even that gay. Like, that's something else.
Is it disappointing if I'm like, none of my friends ever wanted to practice for the boys?
Well, that's what I'm saying too. I'm like, it's actually
a really tough thing. Tough
exactly,
break,
exactly.
You know?
It's actually sort of depressing. But you know what's funny? And maybe this will be contradictory to the Masterdoc. I was so gay that I was scared to kiss a girl.
Oh yeah.
So it's also like a struggle of like, if you internally, like, I had this thing where I was like, I know if I kiss a girl, I'm gonna like it, even if it was like pushed deep down and I couldn't quite articulate it. Like, I think practicing for the boys would have wrecked me.
Oh yes, for sure.
I would have been done.
Yeah.
I
Even
couldn't do
like
it.
I still remember, like, and I mean, you probably had a similar experience, Ellie. Like, being in theater, like, people are physical, people are cuddly, people are handsy, people are like in ways that sometimes you're like, heh, heh, whew, ha, okay, this is fine. Act normal, act normal, act normal.
Yes.
It's like a lot.
Speaking of that, getting butterflies or feeling like you can't get close enough when cuddling with a close female friend, Leigh.
Let's not talk about it. Let's
But
not go
I
there.
also think
We're now getting to the uncomfortable. Listen, the talking about how unattracted to men we were is like way easier than the like, no, fuck, stop it.
I know it's so embarrassing, but you know what? It's fine. Well, it is also the theater of it all, right? I literally, because theater people are so physical with each other,
yes,
it's like I could be like, oh my God, like I just love sitting in the same seat as my best friend. Like, I don't need to be, she does not need to be sitting on my lap right now.
I just want to borrow their sweatshirt. You know?
Yeah, I just want to make sure, she's not
It's
feeling...
just cozy.
Oh,
it's
she's
just
not
comfy
feeling
sweatshirt.
well. Let me make sure I stroke her hair and I'll get her water. And like, don't worry. Like, I'm going to take care of you.
Oh, God. Listen. It's a whole
This is also so funny.
lot.
I mean, this is the most gay, right? Having had an unusually close relationship with a female friend growing up that was different and special in a way you just couldn't articulate.
Sorry, I have somewhere to be. I gotta go.
This is really bringing
funny story. I actually gotta go somewhere. Sorry. I should have rescheduled this, you know.
Do you want me to really get you? This is gonna be a good one.
Do it.
When a female friend is treated badly by a man, having your protective thoughts turn in the direction of, if I was him, I'd never do that to her.
Ellie, why are you doing me like this? What is this?
I mean, Leigh, you know you're gay, so these are
why you gotta be like this? Yeah, but it's like, but you know what's funny is like, this is still the stuff that to me is like, it's so embarrassing to look back at, like how blind I was. It's so, because you just look back and you're like, you dumb fucking gay idiot. Like, you little gay moron. What were you doing? What were you doing?
Oh,
just trying to be that stand-in emotional boyfriend.
You were doing your best, Leigh. Just trying to be a better boyfriend to all your friends than their boyfriends were. It's okay.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
okay.
I so desperately
Mhm.
wanted to be. And realistically, I would have been.
You were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just-
Leigh, it's okay. You would have been. We can validate you on that, all right? But-
Okay, you know what? Where's one of these that I can let's throw Ellie under the bus here. What can we do?
the funniest one for me. Okay, so this is in the straight version of you, right? And also, okay, so
great.
here, let me read you one other one that's like very relatable to our show. Having your favorite character in every show be that one gay-coded or butch-looking woman like Shigo from Kim Possible. Yes, that's just Let's Hang Out listeners. That one's for you.
I just really, really deeply, deeply cared about the characters of Gabrielle and Xena and Willow and
Exactly.
Buffy for no particular
For no reason.
Certainly nothing to do with them being my type or being in any way attracted to them. I don't know what you're talking about, okay? Get off my back, Ellie.
The straight version is this one's so funny. Being really into how women look aesthetically. Just an artistic just an artistic interest. Because it's so true. Like, I would constantly be like, it's just an objective fact that women are hotter than men. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm straight, but like, we all agree, right? Like, everyone thinks that, right?
But okay, but here's the other thing that kills me is like the top thing on this list is thinking that all straight girls feel at least some attraction to women. And like, again, in terms of just like straight people, you gotta get your shit together. Is like the number of women that I know who are like, I'm totally straight, but like if I could choose, like I would totally be attracted to women because like women are just beautiful. I just wish I was attracted to them that way. And you're like,
so are you? Or yeah, exactly.
Excuse me, but just hold on here.
I don't know if this, like, that's a thing. Like, these things are, even my straight friends would agree with me, right? Because women are more attractive than men. But
you know what else? Okay, sorry, not to totally go here, but we're gonna totally go here.
Great.
You know what else is funny is like, do you feel like there's one thing that I feel like I don't see anywhere in here, and I wonder if it's because they wanted to keep this to like a certain rating level. I don't know, but I feel like something. Okay, listen, I went to Mount Holyoke College, women's college, whole lot of gay college, a lot of coming out, a lot of exploring college, okay? And I feel like one of the things that I would hear all the time, cannot tell you how many straight girls at the time until they got over that I heard say some variation of exactly what we were just saying, right? Of like, oh my god, I totally like, I wish I was gay because like women are so beautiful. I just don't think I could do vaginas. Right? And the amount that also there's like, comp het is like not quite the right word for it. It's like some flavor of like misogyny. Whatever.
It is misogyny,
yeah,
because it is
but
like,
it's
oh,
like,
well, vaginas are so gross,
yeah, they're
and
so
whatever.
gross.
And it's
Ew,
like,
they're so yucky. I don't know, man. It's so moist down there. And like the number of like people that I heard say that until they dated their first girl and then
never said it again.
never
Let's be
said
real.
it again.
Let's be real.
So I feel like there's also something in it that it's like sometimes when you hear women who are like, oh my god, I wish I was attracted. Like, I wish I was a lesbian. I wish I could be with women. But like, I don't know. I just couldn't do it. You know, like it's just not for me. And
But
I'm like,
it definitely is
so...
something misogynistic. It is something compet of it all. Is that?
Oh, it so
is that? Oh well, sex between a man and a woman is like normal and natural, and sex between two women like has to be like not.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the same with it's just like men are the default, right? In general.
Yes.
Like men are the default. With if a man is bisexual, he's gay. If a woman's bisexual, she's straight. It's like that kind of thing of like,
yeah.
Which, to be fair, just to clarify, I don't believe that. But you know how, like, that's how.
No, but I get, like, but the sort of dominant narrative that takes over a lot, yeah. Also, can we talk about having this bullet point that says, having, like, half your friend group from school turn out to be LGBT+. And
it's so true.
It's so true. Like, listen, if you went to high school and you're 10 years out and, like, you know, half to more of your friend group came out as gay, bitch, you gay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Join the parade.
Yes. Well, also,
Get in here.
it's, I mean, I've talked about this on a Patreon episode, or on The Kids Are All Right. That was like the worst for me, where I was like, all my friends are gay and I'm so
Yeah.
confused. I'm like, why?
Why am I so straight
Why
and
am I
unhappy?
so straight? Yeah, like, why are they all coming out to me and forcing me to look at my own sexuality? Like, please stop.
So insane.
Yeah, it was
So
rough.
insane.
This is also, I'm now just reading so much shit.
I feel like we keep going back and forth, Ellie. I can't tell if we're like, this document is problematic because it's going to make you think every single person is gay on
And
Earth,
also,
or
like,
if we're like, this document is 100%
document
correct
is
and
the
everyone is
Bible.
gay.
Yeah.
I feel like we flip-flop sentence to sentence, and honestly, there's no wrong answer here.
Well,
It's
'cause
just,
here's
this is
the
what this doc is. This is what this is.
I do feel like, okay, as ridiculous as this, like, I think if you're like a nuanced human being, and if you can understand nuance, right? You, if you are questioning your sexuality, could read this, and it might unlock some shit for you and be like, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that it uses the word lesbian
Yes.
is, I think, the big problem with it, because a lot of bisexual and queer women have felt these things as well. So I think the problematic part about it is that it's like, you must be a lesbian. And it's like really just saying, okay, are you attracted to women? In however that happens.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just hard. It's so hard out here when straight women are really doing all this, talking all this shit about, like you said.
Straight
like,
women are really doing the most to like fit the Lesbian Masterdoc.
They really fit the Lesbian Masterdoc.
Yeah, it's like a whole lot.
And also because it's tricky, because some of them, okay, so let me read this one, and I will say this is like, I feel like this is not super accurate. You get anxiety around men and feel more comfortable in settings with women. That line is just women.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay.
So true.
Of course you do, right? But there was another line earlier that was like, you mistake your anxiety around men for butterflies or whatever. It's like, I can get why that would be complicated and confusing, because like, we've been taught, like, men, you must be careful. But then another thing is, I feel like if you're gay, you're not that comfortable around women. You're not comfortable around women you're attracted to.
Yes, there's that. But also, I feel like there is something about the shield that claiming straightness still provides you. Because the thing is like, another one on here that's right under that is like, being mistaken for a couple with one of your girlfriends is exciting for you. Being mistaken for a couple with one of your guy friends, no reaction or feels weird or wrong. And the thing is like, did you used to do this with your friends? Like, we used to think, my friend group that turned out to be like
all
90%
gay. Yeah.
Like, we used to think it was the funniest thing to like go out and be like, oh my god, let's like hold hands and put our arms around each other, and like, I'll buy your movie ticket and we'll like make them think we're on a date, and like, ha 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 ha, because you weren't, right? Because it was like, because you all knew you weren't.
Yeah.
Right? But you'd be like, oh my god, like this, let's do this, and then we'll sit like this, and then it's gonna totally look like we're together. Oh my god, do you think we can make the waiter think that we're together? Like, that
All
was
right.
like,
that's way gayer than what I ever did.
oh my god. Like, but we used to think it was the funniest thing, right? Because you were like, oh, look at us, like, who cares if people think we're gay? Like, we're so accepting and like progressive, you know? And also because part of you was, yeah, like, you were getting that vicarious thrill of being like,
I'm on a date with a woman.
Someone has perceived me in that way, right? But at the same time, if there wasn't that protection of being like, and of course we both know we're straight and we're just laughing about it, ha ha ha, it's just a big joke. Like, that would have been, like, you would have been sweating, right? Like, that would have been a whole thing going on.
Well, yeah, that's the same. Like, yeah, like I was very physical with my girlfriends until someone would say something like, you guys seem gay. And then I'd be like, right.
Yeah.
All right, bye. And then they would all be very...
Just a small cloud shaped like Ellie.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm out. Couldn't be me. Yeah. I don't know about this gender stuff.
You know, listen, I'll give the Lesbian Masterdoc a couple points for like how they handle this section. Couple things that I do like. One, very, very welcoming of trans lesbians, which like props to you, Lesbian Masterdoc. We love our trans lesbians. Also, they're like very, very cool about the whole like non-binary lesbian thing, which I'm like, yes, please. Like, great. Why would this be an issue? I don't know. I feel like I at least was happy about that because sometimes, I mean, you know this. We've talked about this a lot before. It's like sometimes you get into the very like hardcore lesbian spaces and they get a little
Terfy.
You know, like, well, terfy is like one byproduct of that for sure, but they just get gatekeepy in a lot of ways about like what lesbian is or means or has to look like in ways that like you and I are not here for.
Yes.
So I'm actually like, you know, listen, the do we consider this the Bible? No, but I mean, like, I was glad to see that it doesn't feel turfy. It doesn't feel like, you know,
like for example, it says knowing you're attracted to
are.
Yes, it says knowing you're attracted to women, but feeling weirdly guilty and uncomfortable trying to interact with them as a straight man.
Yeah, and
only later realizing you're actually a trans lesbian. Or this one about non-binary, being non-binary and taking a long time to sort through being able to respect and understand your non-binary identity and your lesbianness at the same time.
Yeah.
So yes, it's very gender expansive. For
Which is
sure.
Great. Good for the Masterdoc, you know?
Yes. There's so much. We literally can't even get through the entire
we can't.
doc.
Because you know what this is? This is like, okay, I mean, I come from a different era of the internet when I was like dealing with all of this, but I'm like, this is every Yahoo quiz of am I gay that
you may be a lesbian,
on like some flash website in 2002. Like this is all of them like wrapped into a giant PDF of just like all the things, right? It just covers it so
all
much. I feel like ultimately though, I mean, like every one of those quizzes, it's like the answer is if you're Googling the Am I a Lesbian Masterdoc,
you probably
that's your answer.
Yeah, you've got some gay
that's
feelings
your answer
going
right
on.
There.
Yeah,
okay?
Seriously, it's like
you
I
don't
think about
need to read it.
And I also just think it is so important to just be open to questioning your sexuality, because if you're open to questioning your sexuality and you're still straight, nothing has changed. You're cool. Everything's fine. Do you know what I mean? It's like the risk is that you live your entire straight life sad as fuck because you're not straight. If you don't and I guess that's also that's my perspective, because I feel like that's the way that I live my life in general, is like I would rather do something and regret it than not do it. And I know that a lot of other people don't feel that way. And there's also safety concerns, obviously.
Sure.
We can't ignore that. But I like that this basically says, like, if you're unsure or questioning, feel free to try on the lesbian label. If you come to the conclusion that you are not a lesbian eventually, that's okay too.
That's fine.
That's
Listen,
fine,
these
but
two dykes give you permission to try out being a lesbian for a bit.
Just
for a week.
give her a test drive and see
Just
how
give
it
her a
feels.
test. Like, listen, you test drive a car, you
You'll
sometimes
never
just gotta try shit out.
You'll never know until you try.
Can I tell you?
It's going to a real fucked up place here.
We're getting fucked up. Okay, listen, can I tell you what I think the most fucked up part of this entire document is, though? It's the TLDR at the end. Because I swear to God, this TLDR is basically like, hey, straight girls, sorry, you're actually gay.
Yeah.
So let's go through some of the top bullet points in the TLDR. You might be a lesbian if you wish you were a lesbian so you could escape the discomfort of dating men. Men are okay in theory, but terrible in practice. You feel like you could live with a woman in a romantic way, even if you can't imagine doing anything sexual with a woman. Or let's just flip-flop that. You feel like you can enjoy sexual interaction with a woman, even if you can't imagine having romantic feelings for a woman. You lose interest in a man as soon as they seem interested in you. And I'm like, this describes
every straight girl.
So many straight girls. Like, so many straight girls. As a child, you always thought you'd either never get married or platonically married a friend. I'm like,
Wait, my favorite. You can't imagine having a happy and fulfilling future with a man. Oh, God. You expect relationships with men to be unfulfilling by default.
Yeah. You dislike being attracted to men in general. Like, I swear to God, straight girls, like, you gotta do more. You gotta do a little bit better. You gotta be happier with your lot in life, okay? Like, You have
We're
to stop
so
being
sorry
so
you were born. We're
distressed.
sorry you were born this way, but like you gotta make it work.
Yeah, I feel like we're like an It Gets Better PSA for straight
For straight people.
It gets better.
It gets
I
better.
do feel like, you know, like men in their like mid-30s, like they kind of start getting a little bit of their shit together. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to date men, but you feel like you have to. I mean, it's just
That's it. You think that your feelings for women don't count or that all women have feelings like that, but they're not valid because you think it's a phase everyone's going through. Oh my God.
man.
You think that just because you could survive dating, marrying, or having sex with men, you're attracted to men. This woman is trying to convince straight girls to sleep with her. That's what I feel like. Like, I'm sorry. She literally says, hint, you don't have to settle for just surviving. If that's not a line from Shane from the L Word, I don't know what is.
That so is. Oh my God.
So funny.
That's just Kate Monig in like a tank top and underwear, like leaning up with a cigarette in one hand, just being like, you know, you
don't have to settle for just surviving.
And then going in for the kill. Yeah, that's so accurate.
Honestly,
you know
props
funny,
to
though?
Lesbian Masterdoc.
I feel like
woman.
you and I have just headcanoned that like this girl had the most oblivious friend.
Oh, 10,000%. Like she's in love with her, and she was like, "I'm sorry, I have to write this for you,"
like,
and she just like
I have
sits,
to break it to
yeah,
you.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's so good that way. Okay.
So good.
If you haven't looked up the Lesbian Masterdoc, you gotta look it up. It's a fucking great time. Fun for the whole family, okay? If you have like a bunch of straight friends, just give them this and
show
have
them
just check off.
See how less gay they
see how
less
many
straight
things they
become.
check off, because I swear to God, it's a wild time. Wild.
All right, here we go. Q and gay.
Q and gay.
Question number 1, Leigh. Who was your celebrity stand-in man crush? A. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, B. Orlando Bloom, C. Jared Leto, or D. Harry Styles?
I mean, some of these are a little out of my era, so I'm gonna say Orlando Bloom. I did have a lot of Legolas with the long hair, Orlando Bloom pictures cut out on my wall as well. Question 2, Ellie. Did you ever take an Am I Gay quiz online? Yes or no?
I honestly don't think I did. And literally,
none?
I don't know if I did. And honestly, because I was so, like I said, I was so gay and I was so repressed and I was so scared.
You were hiding in
if
that
I
closet
typed
real bad.
those words in, like, no, couldn't do it. All right, question number 3. What did you do when you came out? A, haircut, B, men's cologne, C, mask style, or D, all the above?
Listen, it's fine. It's fine. D is a valid choice. We've all been there.
All the above. Knew it.
It's fine. Everything's fine. Stop it.
Leigh is so bright red for half this episode, listeners.
I was a dumb little gay, okay? It's fine. Question 4, Ellie. Did you ever practice kissing with your girlfriends? A, yes. B, no. C, still do. Or D, I'm adding it, I wish.
Honestly, D. It's D. I never did, but my life might have turned out differently if I did, you know?
No, I still think we would have ended up here, honestly.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying much earlier. I would have been like 10.
I was like, I missed some peak years.
Yeah,
okay?
I would have literally been like 10 being like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Leigh. Final question. What was your biggest gay sign before coming out? A, gay dreams, B, sweating around girls, C, joining the GSA, or D, never had a BF?
I'm going to say it has to be a tie between either gay dreams or joining the GSA. There's a lot of...
You were in the GSA?
Oh, yeah.
But you were that.
Oh, yeah. I was a straight ally, man. I was so supportive.
I was such an ally, too, but I didn't join the GSA. But I like...
Kate and I both were. Kate and I both were the GSA
so
pre-coming out. Like...
Amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Listeners, please let us know how the Lesbian Masterdoc affected you. What a ride. Remember, you can give us your own answers to this episode's Q&A questions on our Twitter at Lez Hang Out Pod.
Let me hear you say hip, 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 we're gay.
We love hearing from all of you, and we love continuing to build this community, so we just want to shout out some of our favorite things every episode. And listen, we know last week we went hard on, like, what a cesspool our Facebook has been, so we just wanted to shout out some, like, actual comments that we've gotten from people on our Facebook that are, like, not not just like hate crimes, right? So we wanted to shout out T on Facebook, who responded to our post about having a queer awakening to V for Vendetta.
Sounds right.
Saying yes, but not until they realized they were trans, which, like, I mean, the most correct response to a Wachowski sisters film. Yes. And also, I just loved this because we posted that quote graphic about how, like, if, you know, someone's, like, grabbing your hand and, like, massaging their own tit with it, like, they might just be into you. So I just want to shout out Jason, who replied, I don't know, she might just be trying to be polite. Why do signs have to be so subtle? So
yes,
maybe,
Jason, you get the point.
Maybe they're just being polite. You never know. Okay?
You never know.
Don't quote us on this. It's just good
She's
manners.
just being friendly.
Just good manners.
Oh, God. So funny. As always, I want to thank our Lesbian Jesus patrons, Mark Foster,
Lizette Stye,
Adi Benitez,
Sophia Phillips,
and Armani Gucci.
And our King Princess patrons, Amy and Ellen.
And Andrea Doucette. Thank you so much for supporting us. We could not continue to make the show without you.
Remember, you can also find us on all the social medias. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at Lez Hang Out Pod.
You can email us at lezhangoutpod@gmail.com.
And you can check out our website at lezhangoutpod.com.
Whatever app you use for podcasts, make sure you subscribe so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop.
We also have videos going up on our YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe at youtube.com/lezhangoutpod to catch them.
Lez Hang Out is an independently produced show hosted by us with audio production by Ellie. That's me. Lez Hang Out is an independently produced show hosted by us with audio production by me. Our production assistant is Kristen Murison, and Twitter shenanigans and various other, honestly, taking care of a lot of the shit on our heteronormative cesspool that has somehow happened on our Facebook by Liam Foster.
If you want to help support the podcast, there are so many things you can do. The first one, it's free, it's easy. Leave us a rating and a review on whatever app you use to listen to podcasts. It helps new people find the show.
If you want to support us on Patreon, you can join us at bit.ly/lespatreon. We have all kinds of bonus Patreon episodes for you. We have almost 20 bonus episodes now. So if you're like, I need more Lez Hang Out, join the Patreon and you'll get some extra access.
If you want some Lez Hang Out merch, it's a great time of year to gear up for Pride. You can find all of our designs in our TeePublic at bit.ly/lezshop.
And remember, we do have a queer production company making queer podcast musicals with guaranteed happy endings that you can find everywhere at @DollarBeanProd.
You can also check out our website, dollarbeanproductions.com.
You can listen to all the episodes of our first show, The Flame, on any podcasting app.
And you can listen to all the episodes of our most recent show, Journey to the Heart, also on any podcasting app.
And if you want to help support us in making more musicals, you can join our Patreon at bit.ly/dollarbeanpatreon.
If you want to follow us individually, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at LSH Foster.
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Ellie Brigida. With that, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Leigh. And let's hang out again soon.
Let's hang out.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.